Previously, on the last class, we studied the decline of the Muslim world empires. There is an assignment due, a BrainPop video and quiz in Google Forms that you should redo until you get a good score. Today's lesson is about pre-colonial Africa. Remember, the essential question for this chapter is, what makes people move? First topic, what was Africa like before colonization? Africa is an enormous continent, much larger than Europe, and it has a wide variety of cultures and languages. This has made Africa harder to unite against outsiders who have sought the natural resources. Africa should be the richest continent by resource value alone. From 1100 to the 1800s, Islam spread into Africa from the Middle East as people migrated and added land to existing empires. The Ottoman Empire lasted nearly 400 years. The Sokoto Caliphate was around the same time, and they were credited with increasing literacy and trading while keeping peace. Usman Dan Fodio became revered for accusing Sokoto Hausa rulers of being corrupt and inspired supporters to push for reform. Another famous African kingdom was the Asante, who traded gold, yet had no centralized government. Some of their creations are shown here. Eastern Africa was the leader in trade due to their supply of ivory, tusk from elephants, copper, and slaves. One of the most famous African leaders was Saka, who led the Zulu tribe in what became South Africa in the early 1800s. You can watch the short video from the Google slide presentation posted in Classroom. Around the same time, Britain took control of the Cape Colony area on the far tip of Africa from the Dutch. The Dutch had instituted slavery and racial segregation there, but to reduce conflict, Britain abolished slavery to undermine continued Dutch influence. As the Dutch Boers migrated north in what was called the Great Track, they clashed with the Zulu. Second topic, what was the impact of colonization? The African slave trade was active in the 1600s to 1800s, in which people were shipped to different continents to provide physical labor before the Industrial Revolution created machinery. Once less slaves were needed or outlawed, Britain created a free colony to ship Africans back to in Sierra Leone. Sometime later, Liberia gained independence and was populated by former U.S. slaves who had returned to Africa. Early on, Europeans stayed close to the African coastline because the geography was too difficult to travel into. There was no navigable rivers for ships. It has thick jungle or expansive desert, along with local tribal resistance to outsiders and dangerous diseases in animals. But the Industrial Revolution created medicines and steamships that allowed Europeans to get inland and survive these challenges. They first mapped the major rivers of Niger, Nile, and Congo. Europeans brought Catholic and Protestant missionaries to help build infrastructure and spread the gospel. Dr. Livingstone was a Scottish doctor and missionary who explored Africa for 30 years. He wrote about his experiences for Europeans that promoted sympathy for abolishing slavery. He is also credited with encouraging people to find Victoria Falls, a famous natural landmark. Concern over Dr. Livingstone's existence started after no one outside Africa had heard from him for many years. A journalist is credited with tracking him down in Tanzania. You can watch the short video for more interesting details on Dr. Livingstone.